If you guys want coins for FC24, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very fast, they're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you use my code REMA, you can get yourself a lovely 5% discount. So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. In today's video guys, we do have some 4222 custom tactics and player instructions to help you out in FC24 if you are struggling. 4222 quite popular, it's getting more popular as the days go on because it's very effective formation. The thing which makes the 4222 so good is it's very good defensively with obviously those two CDMs, and it's also very good in the attack with those 4 attackers, and you can also send a fullback forward or even one of the CDMs, so it's just really balanced. And yeah, so just before we get into the video guys, I would appreciate it if you could drop it a thumbs up. It does really help me out. Sub to the channel if you are new. And also, I would very much appreciate it guys if you could comment down below any video ideas you have. Can be anything, to be honest, just some different things, because I'm struggling for content in FC24 and I'm looking for a bit of inspiration to change up the content, do something new, and you know, really give you something you deserve, if you get what I mean. So yeah, with all that aside guys, let's get right into the video and I hope you enjoy. Alright then guys, so starting off with the tactics, yep, pretty basic, won't lie to you guys, it is pretty much same old when it comes to tactics in FC24, to be honest with you. So starting off with the defensive style guys, we do have it on balanced, as I've said many times now. This does give you the best control over your defense. When you want to press, for example, you can, and when you want to drop off and maybe be a bit more passive in your approach, you can also do that. So I really like balance. You guys can use some pressure tactics though if you want. Just keep note though guys that there is a better way to apply pressure in this game which does not utilize these tactics here. Moving on to the defensive width guys, I would highly recommend anything between 40 and 50, as it gives you a nice narrow and compact defense to block out all those attacks through the middle. It's very important you do this because this is the danger zone and you don't want people to just completely cut right through you. It's important however not to lower the width too much, because you still need to have some natural width to the defense to cover the wider areas in case an opponent goes for an attack down the wing. So you want to be narrow in your defense but not too narrow at the same time. Now moving on to the depth guys, this one is completely preference based, to be honest with you. There's not really a correct number to use. It all depends on the type of person that you are. If you like pressure and you want to win the ball high up the pitch and you want the AI to just go crazy for you, 71 depth is probably your best option, because it is very aggressive and very difficult for your opponent to play through. I don't personally like this however, as I feel like you're not in control, if that makes sense. It feels very automatic and I like to have as much control as possible when I am defending. So I prefer to go for something like 55, where it's just a bit higher than the default, so we don't have like a super deep defensive line, we just have a bit more control over when we press our opponent. But yeah, just adjust the depth to whatever suits you. Now for the build-up play guys, I would highly recommend balance regardless of the type of play style you use, because I think it is the best in pretty much every situation. Let me elaborate on this. So for example, slow build-up, what this does is it makes your players just move around really slowly, and it's actually terrible. Your AI does not really do anything, and it actually makes it very difficult to pass. There's like no options. So even though you want to play slow, this is terrible. Fast build-up, your players just move around all over the place, but not in a good way. It's just chaotic and also not productive. So balance is just the best, as you get the most consistent and the most varied types of movements to help you regardless of your playstyle. Now for the chance creation guys, we pop this on direct passing. The reason I think direct passing is the best is because it does fit the meta of this game the best, sorry. So when you use direct passing guys, your attackers will commit these runs, and then the opposition defender will follow the attacker that has made the run. And then once that defender has overcommitted to the run that the attacker's made, your attacker will then make a track back movement. So then there is a lot of a gap between the defender and the attacker, so that you can easily cut back to them. So it does fit into that cutback meta, but it's the only way to consistently score in this game. Now for the attacking width, you can pretty much use whatever you want. I just have it on 44 because I find it to be not too narrow and not too wide. It's just a preference thing though, you can pretty much do whatever you want. For the players in the box guys, I pop this on 6 as I find it to be really balanced. So you have like quite a few players in the penalty area, but when you lose out on the possession, you're not always going to get counter attack. So I find it to be a bit of a sweet spot. Adjust it however you want though. For the corners and the free kicks again, I just have these both on 1, but this isn't a necessity. You can pretty much do what you want with this. Now, for the player instructions, guys, again, pretty basic, but this game is very linear. It's very one-dimensional, so you pretty much have to do this a lot of the time. So for the strikers, we have them on stay central and get in behind. Now, we have them on stay central because we don't really need them drifting out into those wider areas. We want them to be in the middle. We don't need them drifting out wide because we've got like the wider cams to cover that space. So we want them to be in the middle so they can be relied upon, and that is the best instruction for that. We also pop them on getting behind to force runs out of the players. It's especially important to use this instruction when your opponent is using like a pressure tactic or 71 depth, because if your player is on mixed attack and your opponent is doing that, then they just don't move at all and it's very difficult to even attack. So getting behind forces runs and helps you beat the press that is in this game. Now for the wide cams, guys, you do have a couple of options. One thing I would suggest is get into the box for cross regardless. The reason for this is because it stops your players hesitating when you're on the attack. If you have them on balanced crossing runs, there'll be a lot of situations where you get your strikers into the penalty area with the ball and you kind of just have the wide cams sitting and watching and not really contributing. But when you put them on get into the box for cross, it means that they will always commit into that penalty area to give you an extra option and to make it more likely for you to score. Now another option you have is either having this on comeback on defense or basic defensive support. If you put this on comeback on defense, it will make it defend in that 4-4-2 shape, so it will be, these players will be more like right mids and left mids on the defense to help you a bit more defensively. But I leave them on basic defensive support because I find it a bit easier to get out when we win the ball back because not every player is sat back. So we have like a couple of players higher up the pitch, which makes it a bit faster to counter attack and a bit more offensive. If you struggle defensively though, I would recommend come back on defense on both the wide cams as it will help you out massively. Now, for the CDMs, guys, whichever one is your most defensive-minded one, in my case it's the left CDM, so Declan Rice, we pop them on stay back while attacking, cut passing lanes, and cover centre. Stay back while attacking is good because we don't want this player flying forward if he is the more defensive-minded of the two. We need that balance, we need at least one of them to stay back. So we do that. Cut passing lanes means that they'll always look to intercept those passes. It's even better if you have a player with like that intercept plus play style because they're more effective at it. And then cover center so that they will primarily cover that middle area. Now for the right CDM, guys, I use more of like a box-to-box or a balance type player. Somebody that will kind of like attack and defend and have a bit more of like a free role in the team. So on this player, we kind of just leave their instructions alone so that they can do a bit of everything. The only thing that we change, however, is popping them on that cover center instruction so that they'll primarily cover the middle areas as opposed to the wing. Now moving on to the fullbacks, guys, whichever one is your most attacking one, you have a couple of options again. So in my case, the attacking one is the right back, and on this player I put join the attack and overlap. Now I use join the attack sometimes instead of balance because there's a lot of times when you put balanced on that the fullback doesn't actually commit to the run on the attack and they don't really give you the option when you need it. So when you put them on join the attack, it does ensure that they will actually contribute and always make the runs when you are on the attack. This can make you a bit more defensively vulnerable though, so if you want to pop them on balanced, that is fine. Overlap's good because they obviously make those overlapping runs to give you that extra width. Now, for the other fullback, guys, the more defensive one, pop them on stay back and overlap. This is so you always have at least 3 defenders back at a time, but when you send them on the run forward, they'll make the overlapping runs just like the other fullback. For the 2 centre-backs, we leave them alone, and then the keeper, we also leave them alone, guys. But yeah, they're my tactics and instructions for the 4-2-2. If you guys have enjoyed or found this useful, please be sure to drop it a like, sub to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. And with all that aside, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Take care.